Alright, welcome to our tutorial for the volumetric light system. This is going to be rather quick because the system is very easy to use, but I'm going to show you what's possible with the system and how you can adjust the lights to your needs. It comes with a demo scene where we have a lot of things set up for you to check out and to see how all of these effects have been laid out. But for this tutorial I'm just going to go over here into a dark corner and create a light. So setting up the system is rather easy. Once you have created a light, it can be any type of light in Unity, except for directional lights, because for those we don't really support volumetric lights because we wouldn't know how to render it really. The direction doesn't really have a volume. Once we have this point light, all we have to do really is add a component to it. And this component is called the volumetric light component. Once we've added it, you'll see that you can assign a profile. Profiles are small scriptable objects that we have created to make it possible for you to share settings between multiple lights. So if you have maybe street lights, 10 street lights in your scene, and all of these have the same settings for the volumetric lights, you would only have to adjust the settings once, save them to the profile, and then all of these 10 lights can share the same settings. But if you want to have individual settings, you can also create a profile for each of your lights individually and have those settings. So all I have to do now is hit the new button to create a new profile, and you'll see that the light has a volume now. It's rather basic. It's a big white grayish circle that we see here, sphere, but we go to tweaking now and see what's possible to do with the system. The first thing I'd like to show you is that we can still switch between light types. So if I switch to a spotlight now, you'll see that it still works if I increase the range, decrease it, or even change the color of the light. You'll see that it still works and always adjust to your settings. But we also have some additional settings that I'd like to show you in our volumetric light component. First off is the blending mode. We have two blending modes right now. It's alpha and additive blending mode. Feel free to fine-tune this. It kind of impacts the visibility of the volumetric light. Turning down the alpha will make it less visible. So I just put it on maybe something around 25%. You can also override the light color. So if you want to have the light volume to be tinted a little bit differently than the light itself, maybe you have a very yellow light and you want to cast a yellow light on the rest of your scene, but you want the volume to be more orangey, you can do that by overriding the light color and then put it on an orange tone. Also decrease the intensity without decreasing, or increase the intensity even without decreasing or increasing the intensity of the light itself. The next setting that you can use goes a little bit more into detail with the visibility of the volume, and these are the fade distances. You'll notice that right now the spotlights area is pretty much filled with the volumetric light effect, but if I, for example, increase the edge fade strength, you'll see that now the volume starts fading a lot more smoothly from the edges of the light. So you can increase this setting to make it look a little bit more smooth. One of the cooler settings is the custom fading, and what you can do there is create effects like we see here, where the light kind of is spotty. So this is based on gradients, so you can give it any gradient that you'd like. For example, I just start with a simple fading off gradient, and now you'll see that the volumetric light really fades down the further it gets from its source, which I think looks kind of cool. In a lot of situations you would want the volumetric light to start off with a little bit of distance from the source, because this tends to be very small and in a single point, and it gets hard to place them, for example, under a street light with this little edge where everything starts. So one thing that you can do is make it start invisible, and then you can move down the start of the whole thing further to fine-tune it to your needs. You can also use another blend mode, for example the fixed mode, and now you can really fine-tune where you want to have your volumetric light. I'll just leave it at this, maybe make it a bit more visible, something like this. Cool. So now we have our basic volumetric light, and we have one more trick up our sleeves, and that is the fog texture. And I think that's the coolest feature that we have. You can assign a texture to this volumetric fog and then even move it around. I'll just use a rock texture that I have in this project. You can use any texture that you'd like, and you'll see that it's being tiled quite a lot, so I'll adjust the tiling to maybe 0.2. Now you'll see that the volumetric light starts to have this cool structure and kind of appears as if fog is moving through it. And you can even make it move. So I'll set up the scrolling speed, the vertical scrolling speed maybe to 10, and horizontal scrolling speed maybe to 2. And now when I move around the scene, I'll see that it moves a bit and creates this eerie kind of moving fog effect that you might want to have in your scenes. And of course this also works with other sorts of lights. So if you want to have like a point light or an area light, this effect also works on these lights. This would be quite the cool effect for your scene, to make it kind of eerie looking. We have some examples for this throughout our demo scene. For example, here in the background we have this fog in the forest area that makes it a bit spooky. So check out the demo scene for a few examples of this. And that's pretty much it. That's all the features that we have. This package is designed around being fast and flexible and easy to use, and also being pretty cheap on performance, so that you can use it in mobile projects, you can use it in VR projects without it being a massive performance hit. You should know that it does not support shadow casting, so if you were to place something, for example, in one of these spotlights, the light volume would go through the other object. If you need that, you would have to look at another Unity package, but be advised that those might have a bigger hit on your game's performance. These are really designed to be cheap. Performance-wise, the way it works it creates a 3D volume as a sub-object of your light, as you can see here in the hierarchy, and then makes it render using a specialized shader. So there's no shadow casting possible. As I've said, that makes it perfect for mobile projects and VR projects, and even PC projects if you don't need the shadows. Let me know if you have any feedback, if you need any features for this. We are still actively working on this, and if you need help, join our Discord server. Thank you for checking out the volumetric light system. Have fun with it. Bye bye.